this is your update mid-tournament for those of you who are into the Little League as much as I am. This year's a little difficult because I don't have a television. I've been getting the highlights on YouTube and paying attention as closely as possible. 6 days are in the books. 4 games every day means there's been 24 games, and 8 of the 20 teams have been eliminated. If you're advanced mathematics, that means there's 12 teams remaining. Today and tomorrow will be the last 2 full days where you get 4 games. And then there's less games on the schedule as teams get eliminated from the bracket. All 4 games today are elimination games. So after today, there'll be 8 teams left. If the weather doesn't come into play Wednesday evening, there'll be 4 games tomorrow, 2 elimination games, and 2 winners bracket finals. That'll be exciting in the morning because you've got 4 teams that haven't lost yet. Everybody else has a loss. So when the smoke clears, if there's 8 games the next 2 days, you'll be down to 6 teams. I'll say this, without a dominant team, which may have been the best team ever, at least in the modern era since the days of Taiwan picking the best 12 players off the island when they dominated back in the 70s and early 80s, that Hawaii team last year was probably the best team ever in Williamsport. The tournament was never in doubt. Nobody was beating that team, and everybody was playing for second place. This year is different. I think probably the 8 weakest teams have been eliminated. You know, these teams are fairly even. There's always a few teams that don't have a chance because baseball's just not number one. I mean, the Australians are making progress. The European, African regions making progress. But if they win a game, they're happy. Canada, they didn't do well again this year. Some of the regions that have their own regions now, I mean, you got a Cuba region, you got a Latin America. The fact that they expanded the tournament's a good thing. You've given more people a chance to go, and you haven't added that many teams that don't have a chance. What's left? I'm not surprised by any of these. The only kind of bum deal anybody got was the rain shortened game, which, you know, you sit around 2.5 hours waiting for the rains to stop, and it don't. You got a curfew. That game was in doubt. California was ahead by a run. There was 2 more at-bats coming for the Indiana team. I don't know who was going to win. Indiana had another chance, and they got smoked. So, you know, an act of God, a rainstorm, what are you going to do? I would have loved to see Little League continue the game in the morning, but the rules are the rules. You got 4 innings, and it's a completed game. Shit happens. I don't know. When I saw the change in the rule for a continuous batting order and read the reason, I kind of didn't like it. I didn't know what was going on. We were at the district tournament and now batting 14th in the order. I'm like, what is that? I think it's going to even the rosters out. Sure, there's going to be some teams that only take 12 players and fake an injury because it's always been not how many studs you really have, but how many outmakers you don't have. How many coaches' sons that don't belong on a team are outmakers. You get 18 outs. At this level, even the best teams seem to have that one meltdown inning. Look at Japan. Wheels come off the cart. There's a bunch of wild pitches and pass balls, walks, hit batters, and error here. And the next thing you know, the other team scores 6 runs. At this level of baseball, if you give these teams 4 outs, they're going to score. Other than the ace pitcher, most teams don't have that dominant. Even the Chinese Taipei kid that throws 80, they're going to hit that kid. The second time through a batting order at this level, these kids hit the ball. The pitching staffs that have 5, 6 guys that can throw strikes and can field the ball is the team that's going to win. I don't know who it is. That's what makes it beautiful. None of these teams would surprise me if they win it all, other than maybe the Rhode Island team and maybe one of the foreign teams. But, I mean, if you can catch the ball and the defense gets better every year, right, and you can prevent pass balls and wild pitches and free bases, you're in the game. A key hit there, here and there. as the pitching staffs get down to the third and fourth pitcher, everybody's hitting the ball. You're not having these 12, 13, 14 strikeout games. You have maybe 3 or 4 strikeouts. The thing that grinds my gears is when you get that one umpire that squeezes these pitchers. I don't mind a little league strike zone as long as it's not ridiculous. Keep the game moving along. But you get one of those umps, and there's a few of them up there, that their strike zone's a bread box. That changes the outcome. These kids pitch to the corners, and if you don't give them the edges, and they got to throw it down the middle, I got news for you. The shortest, smallest kid on the team going to hit the ball. As far as the other rule change years ago, you don't see as many home runs because the composite bats are outlawed. People like home runs. Personally, I like a home run every now and then, not 3 or 4 or 5 every game by each team. It's better baseball. Now, who's going to win today? I don't know. I think Mexico is going to show up and beat Venezuela. Venezuela's good. I am rooting against one team in this series. I don't like Tennessee. They've been stacking rosters going back to Goodlettsville days. I don't care what you say. That's a travel team. And, Little League allows it based on school boundaries and such, but that's a travel team. You don't get back there 3 years in a row unless you're bending some rules. You just don't. So I'm rooting against them. And the young lady, she's good, but the story gets old. It's a girl in Little League. She's as good as the boys, all right? That's a good thing. Moni Davis was awesome. I was there to watch her. Japan, Panama, I don't know. Does anybody think Japan is as bad as they looked yesterday against Chinese Taipei? I don't. I wouldn't count them out. You get in a loser's bracket, you better have a pitching staff. You got to win several games in a row. What, three games in 3 days or 3 games in whatever. California's not as good as they have been in the past. They're just not. Rhode Island could beat them. I don't think they will. Tomorrow in the winner's bracket final, that's much-watch TV. 1 o'clock, you have Chinese Taipei and Curaçao, and followed up by Texas and Washington. Texas has put some powerhouse teams in this tournament in the past. This team's only got 4,000 people in their hometown. That's a Little League team there, Jack. That's not a travel team. I'm rooting for them. Washington State, do they look like a bunch of chill kids that should have been surfing and smoking dope when they get older? They don't show any emotion. I like that team too. So anyhow, those 4 teams are in the driver's seat because if they win tomorrow, they're in the final game for the U.S. or international side. They would be in the driver's seat. As far as everybody else, 8 teams today, 4 lose. We're down to 4 games today. 4 losers get eliminated. 8 teams will remain. The 2 winners bracket finals tomorrow during the day and elimination games at night cut the field to 6. Come Thursday, 6 teams remain, and we're getting down to where anybody can win. Because then it's single elimination. You don't have to beat somebody twice. There's my rant. Hope you enjoy the games as much as I do, even though I don't have a television.